A very good morning to one and all, respected Principal Madam, Vice Principal Sir, today's speaker and guest Sohrab Sir, all my respected teachers and the students who are joined with this webinar. Our MD Mehta College family welcome you all for today's webinar topic, cyber security. I request our Principal Madam to introduce our college and Principal Ma'am.
Thank you, Chit. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Authentication Societies in Mehta Science and Commerce College, Bordi, I welcome you all to this webinar on cyber security, arranged by our IKSU team. A warm welcome to all of you. The resource person of today's webinar and all the participants. Open Education Society is a 102-year-old educational society established in 1918 and upholds its motto, above self, above politics. NB Mehta Science and Commerce College, affiliated to Mumbai University, established in 1994 and is situated in the remote Adivasi belt of the Malware district. It has won numerous awards, of which the Best Rural Award from Mumbai University is great significance. In the difficult period of COVID-19 pandemic, the new movement is maintaining safe distancing, taking precautions, and increasing our immunity to fight the coronavirus. By remaining at home, we have to continue working from that safe zone, and the only way to reach out is the youth movement in its various avatars. We have been talking about ideal worlds like utopias. Now is the time when we look forward towards creating cryptopias, where all our data stands secure and guarded against viruses. If we go fiercely behind, our concern regarding cybersecurity has increased manifold. Our IQAC felt that a deeper work on cybersecurity would help enhance our awareness and preparedness regarding the issue. I'm happy that Mr. Vakharia accepted our invitation and is here with us today. We all look forward to an exciting session with him. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have Madam.
Thank you, Madam. Now I request our Vice Principal Sir Bordi Sir to welcome and introduce today's guest. Bordi Sir.
Good morning and warm welcome to one and all. Today's webinar topic is cyber security, organized by Open Education Society, NB Mehta Science College, Bordi. I, Dr. T.N. Bordi, Vice Principal and Head of the Department, is here to give a brief introduction of today's speaker, Sohrab Vakharia sir. Sir is working as Assistant Professor in the University of Mumbai. He is technology optimistic, extremely passionate about emerging trends in the technology and implementing the same that improves and eases the lives and business of many. From beginning, a professor by profession and a traveler by passion, Sohrab sir has many achievements and stories. With the proper IT knowledge, we now spearhead wise monkeys and online information and
All right. So guys,
I design. And third interesting area is artificial intelligence, information security, web technology, digital marketing, etc. Sir taught more than 10.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining in. And on behalf of NB Mehta College, which is situated at Bordi, I'll be starting this entire session. So I'm just waiting for a few more participants to join in. I hope I'm loud and clear to all. And I just request people to stay for a moment. So maybe for next 2 minutes, so that everyone can join in and then I can start the session.
Yes, Joy. Hello.
Yes, Joy.
Okay, so the session is
Yes.
on here. I hope I'm loud and clear to everyone. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, anything you can always type in the live chat. Now I'll be starting the session. I'll be speaking on a couple of topics. And if in case you have anything to say or anything to ask, you can always type that in the live session or in the live chat, sorry. So here we start with. A moment, please. So first thing is to make you understand about cybersecurity. Now, since we are here to understand about cybersecurity, first thing we need to understand a differentiation of like security and safety. So that's a primary objective. What we need to understand. What is safety and what is security? That's a small little brief, differentiation I would like to give you today. Now, safety means a condition of being protected. Okay. For example, you have a risk and you feel that there is a danger or a risk. So you try to be safe. Okay. If we try to consider as an English explanation for the same. Now, so safety means a condition of being protected from unlikely to cause danger and a risk or maybe an injury. While in security, on the other hand, it's a state of being free from the danger or a threat. So security is associated to a threat and safety is associated to a risk. I'll give you one small little example to make you understand the same. Okay. The example is very simple. Just try to understand and I hope this works. So in case you're walking on a road, you're trying to cross the road. So we use safety measures for that. We are not walking on a road to kill ourselves, and nobody's driving on the road to actually hit somebody. Things are under control, but it's just there is a risk associated that something might go wrong. For that purpose, we need to ensure that there has to be some safety measures taken. But at the same time, just try to understand, if not you and me, but a prime minister or a president is crossing the road, or a person who's with who requires security, somebody who's on a very eminent position is trying to be on the same road, they will not just have safety measures, they'll have security measures because they have a life threat. You and I don't have a life threat. Nobody's going to kill us. But yes, for eminent personality, there's going to be life threat. So these people, when they are outside, they will definitely have security measures. Okay, so security is why? Because there is a threat associated, and safety is why? Because there is a risk associated. So both the terms are different. Today, what we are going to learn here, we're going to learn a conglomeration of both. I'm going to speak on a bit of safety and bit of security as well. All right. Moving further ahead to understand cybersecurity, so there are three important factors which plays a brilliant part in entire cybersecurity. That is a CIA triad, a confidentiality, integrity, and availability triad. Okay, I'll give you a small little briefing on the same, and then we go further ahead. When I say confidentiality, it means where we are trying to protect ourselves and we are trying to protect or we are trying to hide a part of data. Okay, that's confidentiality. When we're trying to hide something, in a simple lame words, you can say integrity is when we are trying to keep something intact, something is not changing, it remains the same. Availability, at the other hand, when the data or or the information is available to only who are designated, not to all. So there's a difference between all three, and these three are implied when we are trying to understand security. All right. So CI triad is very important here. Uh, Soon as we go further in the understanding, you will come to know where the CIA is been there. I won't be stretching further on it. Moving further ahead to understand, if we want to implement the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability, the first thing comes to our mind, to our understanding, is authentication. Okay, so especially when we talk about security, we try to understand authentication for that matter. Okay, so there are a lot of comments coming here, but I'll just say that probably I'll explain you or I'll give you an understanding of the same of your comments in a while. I'll answer each and every comment, so don't worry. Okay. uh, Trying to understand authentication. Now, authentication is a process or an action of verifying the identity of a user or a process. So when you're trying to identify a user or you're trying to identify a system or a process, you need authentication for that. Now, uh, it is going to cover entire CIA here. So we've got three major types of authentication mechanisms. Okay, the first one we consider is something that we know. Okay, that could be the password, that could be a secret key that we know, something which is within us and we are not sharing it with somebody else. Something that we have. Okay, that could be a smart card, or there could be a verifiable key, or maybe like for example you are having a lock and a key mechanism wherein you have a key, something what you have, okay, to authenticate yourself. Okay, or it could be a thing, or it could be a process what you have to authenticate yourself. And the third one is something that you are, like for example the biometrics. Okay, for example our thumbprints. Okay, that's a part of it. My retina scan. Okay, so all these things are the three different types, like something what we know, what we have, and something what we are being used to have authentication. Okay, there are different types of auths we use, like we use passwords, we use biometric, we use combination of that. Especially online, we might have seen there are different two-factor authentications wherein both the two different things are being used. Okay, so it totally depends, like what's being used and what's not being used. So we're gonna learn different types of authentications further coming into understanding. One more important point, what we need to understand in security is non-repudiation. Now, this is where you cannot deny of what you have done. Like for example, I can see the comment section. There are people who have written a lot of comments. Now, tomorrow they cannot deny they have not. There are a few who might want to disrupt the situation and they might post wrong comments. Okay, so if you want, we can report them. We can take down their case. So probably, there would be people who can write wrong, and this happens on social media, and this happens a lot when we are online. That people write something wrong, so they cannot deny. You think you will delete your comment and you'll get away with it? You will not be able to. If you have sent an email, you cannot deny that you have not sent an email. That's non-repudiation. If you have said something, everything is logged. So especially when it comes to information security, okay, so non-repudiation plays a very vital role in the scenario. So we need to understand authentication is needed to get into, to identify yourself and have confidentiality into the, so that you can get in the system. and whatever you have logged in for, or whatever your techniques are being, they are being logged. They are being locked forever. So that is being taken care by the non-repudiation. Further moving ahead to give you a little more tips. So this was a basic, I can say, a random overview of security, especially the paradigms which are the part of the technical part. Now I'm going to discuss more important part here, which is going to be more interesting. That is to understand some practical techniques which can help you in your day-to-day life. Okay, so social media security. The first thing what we are going to understand, and then we'll be understanding the password management, and we'll be learning further for the online money transfers, and we're going to learn about the several internal and external tools for data encryption and decryption, and I'll be talking something about the HTTPS. So let's take one beautiful topic, that's password management, like managing the password. The most important part when we are authenticating, we need to understand that how to have the password management done. Okay, now try to understand this password what we use everywhere. We face a lot of issues with it, like we generally don't have it strong enough, and we end up compromising it by several ways. So password management techniques are going to help us understand that how we can how we can create a strong password, and how can we remember it, and what different methods we can use to manage the same. All right. First thing to understand, whenever you're using password anywhere, the strength of the password needs to be understood. Okay. So for your understanding, I'd just like to tell you, see, password strength is something which can always be calculated. It's not something which can be always foolproof forever. There are high chances that you can end up getting your password calculated by some machine, or by several techniques. So it's better to have a password strength enough that the calculator, maybe a machine or something, would not be able to calculate it for a longer period, so we can mitigate the risk. Okay, we can mitigate by the time the person is calculating. So here is a piece of small little advice when you're setting up a password. Set up at least a 12 character password. Now online we see they have written at least set up an 8 character password, but I would say set up at least a 12 character password. Definitely alphanumeric. You need to have alphanumeric passwords. And another very important part is use special characters as much as you can. If you're using good number of special characters, so the strength of your password becomes a little more stronger. Okay. Another challenge we face: what if we end up creating, a very complicated password, and then what if we don't remember? So general tendencies of our, setting up password goes this way. So I would just like to have a small little interaction in a live chat here, wherein you are going to help me out with certain understandings of the password. Okay, so that we can understand what type of passwords we should keep and we should not keep. Just try to understand, for example, your think from the hacker's point of view. When you are trying to hack into somebody's account, or maybe you're trying to get an access of somebody's account, what kind of different passwords you can try for that other person. So for example, I'm trying to guess password of somebody. Okay, I'll be using certain set of combinations to guess password of someone. So for people who are here live right now, I just want your interaction, saying that what kind of passwords people can keep. Okay. So if I can have on the comment section. Okay, so I've already started coming. So some are writing the uppercase and lowercase of some numbers, what people generally use. I would say there are people who use their name and the mobile numbers, possibly. Okay, can I have something more? Okay, someone's writing date of birth. Yes. Someone's birthday. Very good, very good. Any further comments? So what people use? uh, Initial of the birth date, and then some initials. Okay, and name initials. Okay, birth date of some people. Okay, Anything apart of the date of birth? Surnames, mobile numbers, pet names, date of birth. What other things people can keep? Child name, special characters. See, a lot of things we know. Okay, good that I'm getting a lot of comments here. Good that a lot of things we know that we keep all these stuff. Okay, so what happens? Somebody's writing. Someone can have personal details like the husband's name or kid's name. Yeah, possible. People have. Sometimes people just write 1 2 3 4, some common name and then 1 2 3 4. Okay. So our understanding is we don't have to keep such passwords. Simple. Okay. A vehicle number, first character of a sentence, a secret acronym. Possible. See, now various varieties of passwords are coming. So this is what we call it as a brute force. Okay. Trying different combinations. So try to understand whatever is written in the comment section. You're not going to use that. It's that simple. For when you are setting up your password, you're not going to use that. You're going to use what's not there, what people cannot keep. So thank you guys for helping out for the same. How to remember multiple passwords? Now that's another thing. Like probably we need to understand how are we going to remember different set of passwords. It's a very difficult task. Like we've got accounts on several different platforms. At times we have to use. We generally tend up using one single password. We call it as a common password for all. So don't have that habit. First thing, don't have that. Even if you think the platform is something very easier, like it's not some very important platform. You feel कि क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I'll just use a simple one here. Don't do that. Always try to have something different. I'll give you one simple trick to play around with. Have one password which you can remember and which is complicated for somebody else to remember. And every platform you use, for example, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or maybe for your Google or for some other XYZ website, wherever you're going, always add a few keywords of that website's initials to your password. Easier. Like for example, if I say I'm setting up a password, there's going to be NB Mehta. Okay, so NB Mehta is my password. So if I'm going to Facebook, I'll probably type NB Mehta @FB123. Okay, or maybe I can write NBFB Mehta. So it could be possible that I'm using the password and I'm adding the keyword of that site. So this becomes easier for me to remember. It's one of the trick. You can have your own. Okay. So maybe you can understand this way and things are being a little easier for you. Then another thing is very simplest way on a site, use a forgot password. You don't need to remember. Don't remember ever. What you can do is you can just use a gibberish combination of password every time you log in. So every time you use forgot password if you really don't remember. So the service has been given. You can use it n number of times and connect it to your one genuine account and remember the password of that account. So that saves a lot of energy for us to remember the passwords. You don't need to remember the password. Let the system do the task. Okay. For mobile applications, if you are using, so there are certain set of mobile apps available. Like for example, LastPass is an mobile app which is available. You can use that particular LastPass app or maybe password manager app. So if you go to Samsung, there is a Samsung password manager apps, or different cell phones have their own password manager apps. You can use them, but try to use a trusted one. Try to use the one which maker has made. For example, if you're a Samsung user and the app is made developed by Samsung, use that. If you're an Apple user, there are apps which are developed by them. Use that to save your password. So these apps help you, but still, I would say you try to remember it rather than depending upon some another application to remember your password. All right. Then one more important part when you are signing up to different accounts, try to use a separate email ID or a username for each and every different accounts. Like for example, for Facebook, use a different mail ID. For Twitter, use a different email ID. I know it's pain, or you can have for your social media one mail ID. You can have for your banking a different mail ID at least. So if you do that, at least the usernames are different, and your the probability of your account getting compromised again, goes down. So we are trying to mitigate the entire risk with the same. All right. Moving further to understand the social media security. Now, get one thing very clearly: on social media, nothing is secure. Okay. It's always very much open. So whatever you've posted is gone forever. You're getting it. Okay, I've got a few more comments here. I would just like to notify Mr. Mukesh is writing a beautiful comment saying that we can use two-step verification. Yes, definitely. You should use two-step verification, especially for your Gmail or especially for those mail accounts which are very important for you. For the ones which you are using for banking, and for banking, use a separate mail ID rather than using a common mail ID everywhere. So that's a good practice you can have. All right. So on online, I've always said whenever we are on any social media, whatever we've posted is posted for people forever. It never comes back to you. Whatever data is gone is gone. So you don't need to worry. You don't need to you can't protect. So get that notion very clear in your minds before you post anything. Okay, before you write any comment online, before you post a picture online, before you write a content online, it's gone is gone. So if you have that notion, first thing, you will be in a control before you post anything. Second thing, if you have already posted, like for example the pictures, try to keep privacy settings. Yes, it will help you a little, not all. There are high chances that somebody else, okay, can intrude, like maybe your friend can compromise your picture. And even if you don't want your picture to get compromised, okay, try not posting it. If it is posted, leave it. It's fine. Are you getting it? So this is something very important. Like whatever posted online is gone. Another risk online, especially on social networks, is social engineering. Okay, so try to stay away from social engineering. How you can, or you can't stay away completely, but at least you can try to understand your data to guess the passwords. Like for example, we somebody said the date of birth people keep as password. Someone is saying that people are keeping the last name, the first name, the pet name. So all these things combinations can be used as password. And how to find them? The best medium is social media. You have written down everything on your social media platform. To guess that, it becomes easier. At times, we get friend requests from people whom we don't know. They indulge with us in talking. They make us burp out a lot of information. So that is the reason I always say social engineering is an art of manipulating humans. They manipulate and they convince you to reveal all the information out, and you end up revealing all the information on social media. Another different types of social engineering attacks could not just be social media. Sometimes you get an SMS saying that you won a lottery, click here to claim it. So when you click here, you don't really claim it. Okay, yesterday in one of the group, I saw a message coming that during the pandemic, government of India has announced a sum of 5,000 rupees for all. Okay, and click here to claim that. So it's a hoax. Don't believe on such things. Try to trust the channels which are directly coming from the government or the official organization. If you're really looking for a correct, authentic information, go to Twitter. There are handles by the government, there are handles which are verified handles of the sources. Follow them and get information from them. Whatever information. Don't trust any hoax or information which is coming to you on the WhatsApp. Are you getting it? So stay away from these medium by which you end up giving out information. Okay, I've got a few questions. I'll just talk them. Okay, I might not be able to take all the questions, but there is one. Please explain us social engineering, how it is a threat. Okay, I'm explaining the same. Is it safe to save password on any site? Okay, saving password on any site, it's difficult. Now, how much you trust that site? That's important. You want to try that? Try it right away now. Go to passwords.google.com. Just go to passwords.google.com. You will understand what I'm trying to say. What Google does, how they save the password. They have passwords of all. Try doing that. Just go to passwords.google.com right away now, and then you will understand what I'm trying to say. all the passwords are being saved, whatever, whichever you click to save. So sometimes we log in to some website and we get a notification, we like to save the passwords, and we click yes. Are you getting it? So when we do that, it is getting saved with Google's password management tool, that is passwords.google.com. So it saves it nicely so that all your passwords are safe. But again, it's a management tool. What if the tool is compromised? There are high risk that your passwords may get compromised. So better, if you have your important websites, don't save it. Whatever happens, don't save your passwords. Try to use incognito mode if you are accessing somebody else's machine. Okay, that will help you not to save the passwords, as well as they'll help you not to save the browsing data. So somewhere you can again mitigate the risk. All right. So let's go further. Another thing is online money and banking security. Now, this is something which I'm going to focus on more. We most of us we do a lot of online banking. We do a lot of online transactions. Okay, so try to understand when we are doing online transactions. Okay, these transactions are prone to security risk. So, how to ensure that we have enough security here? Number one, whenever you're making online transactions, keep a separate account to make the transaction. Don't use the same account. So, for example, if I have a saving account, keep it separate. Don't use it for online transaction. Open an account which you are going to use only for online transactions. Keep some amount of money in that account, not your entire life savings, but at least you can keep little amount. Use that bank account as a wallet, entire bank account as a wallet. Then you can pay money or wherever you want to do that using that account. Number two, using the wallets. Like for example, there is a Paytm wallet, and then there are a lot of different wallets such as Free Charge and Amazon Pay. So we've got a different set of wallets everywhere. Use the wallet as much as when it comes to shopping online. This wallet will hold a little amount of money, maybe 500 to 1000 rupees or 2000 rupees or 5000 for that matter. It's not, you're not going to put in your entire life savings in the wallet. So what if the wallet gets compromised? Still, there are high chances that you are not compromising your entire bank account. You are compromising only that limited amount of money. So you're mitigating the risk. Are you getting it? Another, using the credit cards. Now, using a credit card is another way to safeguard yourself. Now, I'll tell you a small little example here. If you're using a debit card, the amount, if it is compromised, what if the debit card is compromised online, the entire money is flushed out from your account, it's gone. Now it'll take you ages to get that back. But when it's a credit card, it's not your money which has gone actually, it's bank's money which has gone. Bank will help a lot in getting their own money out, and it really works. Using a credit card, you still have to pay the bank. You can always complain and say that the card has been compromised. There are high chances that bank will get that money back. But when it's a credit card, when it's a debit card, your actual hard-earned money is gone forever. So always try to use a credit card. You can always defer the payment of credit card till a longer period, till the time, if it is an online fraud, you can defer it for a longer period till the time you don't get your money back. While in debit cards, your money is gone. By the time it will come back, by the time investigation will happen and you'll get your money back, whether it will happen or not, it's going to take a lot of time. So at least credit card gives you that extra benefit of deferring it. All right. So I'll just take a few questions which are there. Are the bank apps good to install on mobile? Yeah, they're safe. You can use banking applications, not a problem. Okay. But as I said, use only a few banking applications, only one banking application rather, which you are using to, pay online. So keep one bank account which you are not using it online. Keep all your savings into that account. Keep that account as dormant as much as possible. All right. Then a few more questions. Why Google account says do not use this account, use another. This account is not secure. When I try to open any given link, particularly of the webinar that is user feedback, what's the problem? See, Google might give you certain, they have their own parameters on which they decide whether the web link is secure or not. Probably there is no HTTPS, so it'll give you an instance, but probably you're not gonna the site where you're going, it could be probably insecure. So they're just warning you. Now you can use your own brains on the same, whether you really want to go. I'll come to that STPS point also to give you an understanding. So further, uh, as always, if you pay, you get a reference transaction detail with you. Yes, we do always have. That will help you to, that is a log which will help you to trace down. Okay. Uh, hello, fellow tech support. Oh, okay. Somebody is writing this. Hello, fellow tech support scammer. So now this is another highlight which is coming as from a comment section. There could be a high possibility somebody who's trying to fool you all right, saying that hello, I am somebody calling from a banking support or a tech support. Okay, that is another kind of social engineering attack where people call you pretending that they are an official authority who are trying to help you out with your problems. Now, what happens in this scenario is you don't really understand who that person is. And trust one thing, nobody's, especially the banks, they have said they don't call especially to say that your bank account is insecure and you're going to provide us with some information, we're going to fix that online. That never happens. So get that very clear. In case you encounter something, please visit your bank and confirm with them. Or in case it happens in some other, if there is no bank, for example, it's Amazon. Somebody says that I'm calling from Amazon and you've ordered something and probably it's not working right. Well, I'm giving you an OTP. Use that on a link, and you're gonna. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody will ever do that. If in any scenario this is happening, write an email to an official authority. Get help from them. So just stay away from such kind of attacks. All right. Moving further to understand the document protection. Now, okay, I'll just take a few more questions which are there. Where do you save all these passwords? Apps are not trustworthy. Yeah, so that's what I said. Don't save the password. Remember as much as you can. So I've given you a trick how to remember. So where Google Pay is safe for online transaction? Yeah, Google Pay is safe for online transaction, not a problem. But as I mentioned, whichever account you're using for any online transaction, connect one account for online transaction on Google Pay also, and keep one another separate account to save your entire life savings. So things are safer. So somebody saying, I received calls like this to ask my debit card credentials. Never give. How much ever calls you get, whatever credentials they are asking for, don't give. Whatever happens. Okay. Okay. What about the phone pay? See, again, these are different applications. So whether it is phone pay or a Google Pay or Freecharge or a Paytm, these all are applications. They have their own set of security. It's not that they don't have, but still, to mitigate our own risk, we need to understand whenever we are connecting our bank accounts to them, connect one separate account to them. That's it. Moving further to make you understand about the document protection. Now, there are a few things to be understood. While we are using Microsoft Office, and we're using it when we want to send a file to somebody, there is a provision in Microsoft Office tools, especially in a Word document or a PPT or whatever. There's a provision. If you go try to save the file, there's an info bar. Click on that. You have a provision to have your password entered, so that when you are saving that file, try to have a password protected if you feel that document is very vital. When you're trying to send the document to somebody, keep it password protected, even if you're sending it over a mail or a WhatsApp or however. And the password, don't send the password using the same medium. Send the password as an SMS. Don't use the same email to send the password also. So it would be like stupid. If my mail is getting compromised, there are high chances the password will also get compromised. So if you're sending an important document to somebody, try to have a password protection. And once that's done, then you send the password using some other means. Okay, so that's a very simple way. You can also use the third-party tools such as VeraCrypt. I'll just name a few tools which are good enough. It's not necessary that you can always use these tools. There are many other tools also. So there is TrueCrypt, VeraCrypt, there is AXCrypt, there is BitLocker. These are especially for your Microsoft. If you're using Macintosh, you can use FileVault, or you can also use VeraCrypt. They have a Mac version as well. Okay, so that's important. If you can use these tools and encrypt your files, because not all every time we are sending office files, we are sending other files as well. Then we can encrypt those files using these different tools. Another, having online fail safety, like for example, all the data, especially the important one, try to have a backup over the cloud. What if you lose it? What something goes wrong? So for a fail safety, or for that instance, try to have a Google Drive, especially a paid one. If you're looking for a security, you can go for a paid version of Dropbox, or maybe OneDrive, or maybe Google Drive for that matter. These paid versions offer you encryption, a lot of encryption, so that your data remains safe there. And at least for yourself, try to always save all the data, all your vital data online. So what if you lose it, or what if your laptop gets infected by different softwares, or malicious wares? At least you have your data as a backup. Okay, another is purging the file or purging the important data. So for example, you want to delete the file. So you think that shift delete, if you did, the files are being removed from the PC. No, they're not. Or for example, you're just deleting the file from a pen drive. You think it's deleted forever. It's not. The file remains. The file remains. So I would say always use a file shredder software. Okay, there are file shredder softwares available. There are open source available, or in your anti-malwares also there is file shredding mechanism available. There are few anti-malwares, like for example, I use Bitdefender. Bitdefender gives a lovely file shredder option, wherein you can purge all the files. That means you can delete all the files completely. Because when you delete the files, files don't really get deleted. They're always there in the system. So use these external softwares to completely delete these documents. Especially, there are a lot of professors who have joined here. So the question papers, or maybe the important documents which you have in your college. So generally what you do is you just delete. So what happens? Sometimes students use the same laptop and same machine. What they can do is they can use data removal tools, and they can access the deleted data back, which is possible. So there's a very simple tool known as Recuva, which can be used to recover the deleted files. So it's better to purge the data, use a file shredder. It is an open source freeware, especially in your colleges. Whatever question papers or important documents you make, just delete them completely. Just shred the files. Okay. Okay. There are a few comments here. If you forgot password of Yona, how can we get it? You can check with SBI. Overwriting is the only way to make sure the old data is not recovered. Yes, that's one of the way. And if you're purging the data using file shredders, then also there are high chances that you cannot get it back. Okay, moving further ahead. Another understanding we need to understand about HTTPS. Okay, what is HTTPS? We do understand that as well. Now, while we surf online, we always feel that, or rather, it's been always said, use HTTPS websites. Why do we use HTTPS websites? So that we feel these websites are safe. Let me clear that. HTTPS, or I would say hypertext transfer protocol secure, gives you a secure link of data transmission. So the transmission link from A to B is secure, but what has been transmitted inside has got no guarantee. It can be a malicious tool which is being sent through the same link. So get that very right. You having an HTTPS site does not means that all the data on that site is always secure, or all the data on that site is not malicious. So that get that very understanding. Somebody's writing HTTPS certification costs a lot of money. Certification costs not a lot of money nowadays. We've got Let's Encrypt. It is a free certification. Okay, so the times are gone that HTTPS was always expensive. And even if you go to buy another HTTPS, maybe the TLS one, it's not going to cost you much. Hardly you can check out. So it can be as cheap as 100 rupees a month, like 1200 for entire year. It's not that expensive. Okay, there's somebody is writing. Is there so there is Cam Scanner application to save some documents, and they also have backup on the cloud. Now Cam Scanner is another application which was earlier been banned. You can use it if you want to save documents on the cloud, but again, as you and I, we know that the cloud data of Cam Scanner goes to China. Now, that's your call. I won't comment whether you really want your data to go there or not. Okay. All right. Let's go further. Another thing to understand are certain threats and the vulnerabilities, what we can have. Now, online, we have different set of softwares that attack the system, and these consist of viruses, worms, Trojan horses, adwares, spywares, ransomwares, and then set of mobile viruses. So the list is endless. The list is endless. But I like to just give you a small little understanding. See, all the malwares, these are known as malwares, malicious softwares. They're not same. They're different. They work differently. They have their different features to work. Don't call them as same. Not everything on a computer system is a virus. Not everything which is harming your system is a virus. It could be a worm, it could be a Trojan. Try to understand the difference between them. I'll just give you the difference between a few, not all. Like for example, a Trojan is a file, okay, which acts maliciously and it can disrupt a lot of things in your machines. It can delete the data and however it has been programmed. Now viruses, for that matter, they don't travel. Viruses are those files which will disrupt a set of information in your machine. It can corrupt, it can delete the data. So they can do all of that. But viruses will not be traveling by themselves. They need a host to travel. Okay, unlike our COVID virus right now, we've learned that it needs a medium to travel. So similarly, you need to have a medium so that that particular virus can travel. Another thing, virus cannot be self-propagated. They needs to be initialized. Somebody need to start it. Then only it gets activated, and then only it runs. So you cannot just have a virus running by its own self. While at the other end, there are worms which are packed in a Trojan horse, and even a virus can be packed in a Trojan horse. Now, these worms, they replicate themselves, they copy themselves, they transmit to different devices and machines. So they have a different capacity to work. Then we've got a Trojan horse. A Trojan horse is an application that looks good but consists of the viruses and worms. Similar to that, there are several different malwares and they have their own set of properties. So another important, we need to understand the adwares. Like for example, if we surf online, we end up installing certain applications. We end up downloading certain application which we feel they are good, but they either happen to be a spyware or a adware, or because they are Trojans and they have spywares or adwares inside them. An adware would be an application which is showing you different advertisements, could be bad advertisement at the time, and could be a spyware who's spying at the data, who's just sniffing out a lot of information from you, especially when you're surfing online or whatever activities you're doing. So try not to install any software applications which are third party and anonymously. Some things are getting diverted. Sometimes we try to download a movie and they say you need to install this codec to play this movie. Don't do that. No need. I would say first thing, piracy is bad. Don't go for such online movies. If you really want to have, nowadays we've got Netflix, we've got Amazon Prime. They're at a very cheaper cost. Use them. Okay. So there's no chance that you need to really go to those different sites which are giving you free movies. Nothing is free in this world. Get that right. Okay, a few preventions or countermeasures, I would say, always have an anti-malware installed in your machine so that whatever is being coming to your system is being screened. Now, in an anti-malware, try to use internet security plans and try to use security plans which offer a more amount of security, just that being an antivirus. Okay, so that it can scan your system in depth and give you a good amount of protection. So I would not like to give you names of the anti-malwares, but you know them by yourself. Like there's Bitdefender, there is Quick Heal, okay, and there are many more such that. Use at least one of them. Don't rely only on Windows security, okay? Don't rely on that at all. Having a firewall secure. Now, anti-malwares do have the firewalls inbuilt, but if you have a system where you're not using an anti-malware, at least have your firewalls checked. Make sure that the security of your firewalls is much higher, especially in your systems, or in your college systems or in your institute systems. Install a separate firewalls if you have a server room where the things have been kept and for an access. If you're using an in-house cloud, definitely you need a firewall, an external firewall to prevent all the different attacks which are happening online. Okay, try to have all the files which are fully password protected. Whatever you save, ensure that at least one authentication mechanism you use for that. Okay, so this was a small nutshell brief about cybersecurity here. I would just like to take a few more questions before we end the session. All right, is this Chinese devices collecting your data like through the phone, laptops, and other devices? According to the government information, yes, they are collecting it. So try to avoid them. And downloading official apps is okay, but what about the man in middle tax? You can see downloading official apps if you are using. There are low chances of man in middle attacks because the communication channel what they use is secure. Because with the communication channel, if it is secure, even if MIMT happens, a man in the middle attack happens, the man in the middle which is going to get the information is going to get an encrypted information, not a clean information. So it saves a lot. Okay, anti-malwares won't prevent man-in-the-middle attack. Yes, anti-malwares don't prevent that, but if you're visiting a secured site, that does. Like at least HTTPS does that. Okay. Uh, Another question. Xiaomi devices taking a lot of data through browser. Yeah, incognito mode, which you use, still some of your data goes through. Is there any setting in social app like WhatsApp or Facebook, Insta, which can stop to forward such fake messages? No, there is no setting because social media cannot control over the fake messages. It's you and us. We need to understand what is fake or what is correct, and we have to prevent ourselves. Okay. So I think what I'll do here is now there are a lot of people who are asking here for the registration links. So I can probably post that. I'll just post the registration link. So at least for people who've come here and they are looking for certifications can have that. So there is the forms link. I've just posted in the comment section. You can fill that so that you can get your certifications. Okay, any further questions? Okay, Prabhat is asking that are the data secured on a cloud? To an extent, yes, it is secured. It totally depends on the cloud security, what security measures have been taken by the company. So it is secure. What about the instability of React.js and uploading the payloads of their own? Uh, and if you are developing using React.js is good for security. You can trust that. If you're a developer, working on it. So, and it definitely does not share your backend data a lot. And whatever data is being, taken by React, it goes encrypted. So rest assured on that. Do the dark web really helps to secure transmission? No, you never have to visit dark web. Who's asking you? We're not talking about it. It's not helping in security. It's bad. Okay, try not to. See, guys, try to understand the web what we have right now. The clear web, it's just hardly 3 or 4%. Okay, there's like 97 to 96% of dark web or the hidden web rather. So we'll talk on that some other day, but try not to visit it. How does an antivirus system detect virus in a PC? Yes, they have their own ways. For example, they have the virus signatures. They try to match the signature by which they understand. They also check depending upon the activities of a software on a machine. If the software is acting differently, it will detect that. Tor browsers, don't use Tor browsers. Avoid. Get one thing very clear. You think using all these browsers and you are safe. You're not. You're accessing dark web. If you can see them, they can see you. Get that in mind. Recently, most of the fund collected by PM for account, but at the same time, there were a lot of illegal accounts. So for that, you need to use your own brains. When you're paying the money, like how we check the account number to be correct, you need to check the UPI code to be correct. So don't pay in any other random accounts. Okay, why can't we catch the anonymous Kerala hacking groups? I don't know about that. Not I would like to comment on that. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed. I'm happy to see a lot of comments, and I'm happy to see people are asking questions, and I hope I'm able to give answers to most. Okay, thank you for all. I'll just like to connect the NB Mehta College once again, and really thanks NB Mehta College, which is there in Bordi. It's a wonderful college. You must visit. Who the one who has arranged this webinar for us. So I would truly appreciate that college. Now, you go to this college, sea facing, wonderful college in Bordi. Okay, so now let me just allow on the other end Chinmaya ma'am to speak, or maybe the principal ma'am of Anvita College to speak. So if they have something to say. Uh, Hello, principal ma'am, or somebody from Anvita College. Yeah, if you would like to speak on something. There's a lot of noise coming on the other end. Ah,
Hello.
yeah. Yes, ma'am. Please.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Yeah, you can speak, and I have so our listeners can. So I'm using my cell phone so that the voice can reach to all the listeners. Please, ma'am.
The speaker, I have social business card. I'm using my phone so that the voice can be smaller. The speaker, I have social business card. My phone so
Fine, thank you, sir, for this very nice presentation that you have given today. And you have also solved the queries raised by the participants. And as a final section for this webinar, as a vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks, today as the Indians are celebrating Ramzan Eid, we wish on behalf of NB Mehta College, Eid Mubarak to all the participants and all Indians. In this world, by technologies, it is very important for us to be aware of threats posed by using these technologies. In this regard, today we had a talk on cybersecurity. We, the NB Mehta College, thank our resource person, Mr. Sohrab, who not only accepted our invitation, but also helped us with technical support. We thank Gokul Education Society and our zonal secretary, Principal Raut sir, for his constant encouragement and support. We thank our principal, Dr. A.S. Kulkarni madam, for her motivation and support. We are thankful to Vice Principal for his support. And last but not the least, today's webinar would not have been successful without the support of participants, which I could see that there are more than 200 participants participating in this webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks to all. Now
Thank
we
you.
declare that today's session will.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
All right. So we end the session, and that's it.
Feedback account link will also be given in WhatsApp. So please give feedback.
I'll just like to convey to all that you will be receiving all your certifications over email if you have filled the form. So I've just shared the form here. So you'll get your certifications via mail. So in next couple of 4 to 5 days, you'll be receiving all the certificates. So rest assured, and thank you all. You all may leave. Bye-bye. See ya.